So what is ETL? So we'll have these are the like as part of the training, we'll be covering these ones. So one is first we'll try to cover the ETL basics, then what is data is kind of related to each other, ETL and DWH. Then what is data engineering? So data engineering, what is data engineering? So most of the thing I will try to cover, which already I covered in the demo. The same, like what are the different phases and where exactly the data engineering comes into picture, how does it helpful for the data scientist and data analyst. So that I'm going to explain over here. Then the Azure basics. So what is the cloud, advantages of Azure cloud, then the Azure basics. Okay, so general terminology of the cloud I'll be explaining, then the Azure cloud I'm explaining, and then the Azure basics. So what is the terminology which will be used as part of the data engineering, that I will be explaining in the Azure data engineering, Azure basics. Then the Azure SQL. So here in the SQL, I explain about the overview, the architecture. So what are the various pricing tiers and the importance. So how to create the single database, how to create an elastic pool. What is the advantage of elastic pool over single database? So those differences we will cover in detail. And in the data factory, overview and basic components and the control flow. So data flow, the control flow is various activities like for each, execute pipeline, right? Get metadata, stored procedure, lookup activity. Those are all activities we'll be covering here. And in the data flow, the various transformations of the data flow like join, conditional split, and filter, derived column, those kind of transformations that will be explaining the data flow. And we have triggers and alerts. So what is the trigger? What is the alert? How to configure that? That will be using there. And the configuration and version control. How to configure the data and how to do the version controlling. That will explain in one of the session. And in the Synapse Analytics, we have serverless SQL pool, that is kind of to read the data from data lake using an abstract version of the tables, basically to be used. And in the dedicated SQL pool, in the dedicated SQL pool, we'll be using introduction to massive parallel processing architecture, what are the various distribution methods we have, and what is the CTAS, how to copy the data, create the table as select, and what is the copy activity. These are all things we'll see in the dedicated SQL. And here HTAP with Cosmos, there is hybrid transactional analytical processing with Cosmos. So where a Cosmos data can be analyzed with the additional layer, reporting layer that establishes with the Cosmos DB within the Synapse Analytics that we'll be doing. And then Spark Pool. So Spark Pool is nothing but, so it's one of the components of the Synapse. So Synapse Analytics basically have the SQL pool, Spark pool, and pipeline. These are the important things in the Synapse Analytics. So in the SQL pool, we'll be covering serverless and dedicated. And in the Spark pool, we'll be covering the Spark pool. So Spark pool in the sense, it's same like Databricks, which is developed on the open source Spark architecture. Okay, so Spark architecture is kind of an open source on top of which Databricks has been developed. Okay, so Microsoft was using its Databricks version, but later period of the time, it developed its own version called Spark Pool and made it as a part of Azure Synapse Analytics. Then one more important component of the Synapse Analytics, the pipelines. So this pipeline is nothing but the data factory. So what are the capabilities of the data factory which we have, like creating the pipelines, data flows and all those things are available in the pipelines in Synapse Analytics. So basically Synapse Analytics is designed to kind of an exclusive single interface where you can perform all data engineering operations. Okay, so that's where you have all these capabilities, different capabilities within the Synapse Analytics. Next, we have Databricks. Here in the Databricks, we'll cover introduction architecture, how to read the data from ADLS to ADB, how to mount the data, working with the data frames and transformations, and what are the streams overview and overview of the delta lake. So what is exactly delta lake? What is the delta lake architecture? What is the various kind of tables we have in delta lake? Okay, and how to do the version, how to preserve the history with the delta lake, all those, and time traveling, and all those things we will cover in the delta lake. Next, to Cosmos DB. In the Cosmos DB, we'll cover introduction to Cosmos architecture and how does it, what are the various APIs which we have Cosmos DB, and with the SQL API, we'll cover one of the sample, like creating the table and all containers. Then we'll go over here. And the stream analytics will cover what is stream analytics, what is the event hub, how to configure the job, and what are the various Windows functions that are available in the stream analytics will cover. So these two kind of things will be less focused, but I'll try to give as much as needed for the exam point of view. But for real time point of view, not much can be done. We are not going in deep, but we'll try to cover at a high level, high level architecture, and the components are available. And for security, how about the data security features are available in Azure data, and how the data will be encrypted, and what are the various mm, capabilities which we have. So those are all things we'll be covering, the security, encryption, and monitoring, right? So these are the things which we'll be covering. And for lab hands-on, I added exclusive content, almost like a, if it is 36, if I decompose again, it will be around 50. So all these methods I just listed down here. How to create Azure account, how to how to create a storage account, ATLS account, how to read the data using Storage Explorer, how to handle the access control and security for storage account, like creating SQL database in SQL SSMS, how to connect to Azure SQL and run the data, how to create elastic pool, what is like creating dynamic data masking, and how, what exactly the replication means, right? And data factory pipeline, the copy data activity, and various activities that did not listed down here, metadata for each and all. And if you see here, most of the places I listed down the use case instead of the individual flows. So see here, if you say copy multiple files from ADLS to Azure SQL dynamically. So here I use metadata for each and copy activity. So whenever I explain any transformation, any activity, I will take the use case. So within the use case, whatever the transformations, whatever the activities that will be used, I will use that and create the pipeline instead of going through like a basic level of activity by activity. And data flow creation, and in the data flow, what are the transformations, and how to do SCD1, SCD2, even SCD1 and 2 both I will cover. How to implement SCD1 and SCD2 in the data flow, how to create the triggers and all, and what's the various capabilities in terms of version control, then how to create the Synapse workspace, then serverless SQL open row set, how to work with the external table, and how do we create data warehousing tables with the distribution methods in SQL pool, and what are the three kinds of data loading capabilities, like polybase method, copy method, and ADF method. Yeah, so in the data bricks, data frame, delta lake, Spark pool, these are all things we're going to cover. Give me a minute. Yeah, any doubts? Any doubts in the course content, that things and all? So currently the batch will be 9 to 10. But the thing is that I'm going to the office weekly twice, that Tuesday and Thursday for now. So for 1 week, just bear with me for those 2 days where I will be taking less amount of time. But that next week onwards, so we'll try to see if we can do from 8:30 to 9:30, so that there won't be any issue for the timings. So quickly we'll go over each one. So Jahanavi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi Jahanavi. What do you do and what are your expectations from the course and all?
Actually, I'm currently working as an Oracle PLSQL support in TCS from past 6 years. I'm expecting to change my technology. I want to move to Azure.
Okay, that's great. So you're working TCS Hyderabad?
No, I'm working in Chennai.
Okay.
It's near to my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I see one called Dev, developer or Dev.
Okay, it's Devraj.
Yeah, Devraj. Hi, sorry. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, so I work for one of the largest fintech in the world. So I work as a HR, but wanted to move into the tech. So right now I'm learning SQL, and then probably I want to get into BI and then in data engineering side. So just I'm here to know what fundamentals that you'll be teaching across. So just trying to get to know.
Okay. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So Leela Krishna, I think Leela Krishna, you spoke to me other day over the phone, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you work on which technology currently?
Yeah, I'm working on Oracle and Oracle ERP side, sir.
Okay, Oracle.
Yeah, I have 14 years of experience. I'm planning to convert my technology
Oh,
to
you have 14
the
years of
business. Yes.
Oh, okay. You have 14 years. That's wonderful. Okay. So Pravas, I know. Pravas, just introduce yourself again.
Yeah, hi. So currently I'm working as like a ETL developer, working on the managing the two Informatica and talent side. So I want to just move into data engineering side, Azure, because in my current project they are migrating from the talent to Informatica. So that's why I want to know this Azure database.
Okay. Yeah. So in most of the projects currently, they are. I see myself. I see most of the projects, including my current project, we are shifting to talent to Azure Data Factory and all. So I see good number of projects in that line actually. Pooja.
Yeah, hey Pushikam. So currently I'm working with Petronas, that is in Malaysia only. So I'm totally into that Power BI, but little bit I am working on that Azure. But I don't have basic knowledge, but because of that professional way, I done little bit of work in that Azure. But my expectation is from scratch to that Azure level in that Azure, like Azure Data Factory is enough, that is Databricks, how to write each and every queries in that Databricks notebooks. So these are my expectation. And Synapse, I also want to focus on that.
Okay. So on which technology you work now? You said. I just missed that point.
I work with Petronas, that is in Malaysia.
Oh, sorry. Can you come again?
I'm working with Petronas, that is in Malaysia.
Malaysia. Okay. You're not here. Okay. That's fine.
Currently, I'm in India, but my work location is in Malaysia only.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right.
So
Raghu.
if you don't mind, can you please tell me about yourself, like what's your
Oh, I did
background?
not introduce myself, right? Okay, 3 more people joined newly. Okay. I'll do that. So Raghu. Hey Raghu, can you brief about yourself? Okay. So Raghu is not available. Looks like Swati.
Hi, I'm new to this. I work as an automation engineer at Tosca in testing. I just want to change, so I came to this one.
Okay. So how much experience you have?
I have 3 years.
3 years of experience. Okay, that's wonderful. So all in our test automation. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, let me introduce myself. Let me have it the window itself. Yeah. So I'm Purushottam here. You can call me PC. Okay, you can call me PC. That's how my colleagues, friends, and everyone calls me. So I have around 16 years of IT experience in various companies with various roles. So I started my career with a database developer. Then the database story that SSIS was getting
PC
popular.
means Purushottam Chanda.
Right, right, exactly. Yes, yes, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. So database developer worked. Then after that, SSI was getting popularized at the time. So I learned SSIS myself for one of the requirement. I started working with SSI as a BI ETL developer. Then I worked on various projects end to end for SSIS, SSRS, for the developer and all. And in between, even couple of years, I worked with the database testing as well, even support project as well. So I worked as a developer, dev lead, and I led the team, multiple teams. And currently, I am working with one of the product-based company in Hyderabad. And I work with various roles like developer, dev lead, architect, test lead or support team lead, so whatnot. So different kind of projects I work, but all are related to data only. That's what, because I was not inclined, I was more inclined towards the data. That is the reason I never tried my hands in the application programming. Of course, that is one of the disadvantage, I say myself, but I never interact with application programming. And I work with various companies. So currently with one of the product-based company in Hyderabad, I'm working. So, and yeah, I'm Microsoft certified Azure data engineer. Like when I was started exploring, I was working with, these are all SSIS and all. So at that point of time, one of the requirement came in my previous company for Azure data. Then I started exploring that. Then I realized that it's going to rule the entire data world in the coming years. So I learned myself all ADF, ADB and all. I attended multiple free trainings online. Then I attempted this exam, Azure Data Engineer. Then that's how I became Azure Data Engineer. And after that, I used it to teach the people SQL, SSIS and all. So within the same company, even outside of the company. But after exploring Azure Data Engineer, I started teaching that as well. So that's how I became Microsoft certified trainer. So I handle corporate trainings even within my current company. Previous company, I used to handle like trainings to the freshers and all. And yeah, because I do all these things because of my interest in teaching, knowledge sharing. I teach a lot, I mentor the people. Of course, from past 2 years, if nothing is happening, I'm not going much outside, but usually I visit the colleges, I visit the villages, I interact with the students, I interact with the people, I mentor them for the career and all. That's about myself, and you can follow me in my LinkedIn. One second, where is that? My LinkedIn profile. Let me pick you and give it to you. So you can follow me in my LinkedIn. Yeah. So this is my LinkedIn profile. I pasted in the chat window, so you can go, you can connect with me, you can talk to me there. It's there as well. Okay, I keep sharing the things. I keep sharing the latest updates in ADF and all. So yeah, you can interact with me as well. That's about myself. Any doubts you have, like at high level? I want to make it as a informal introduction session today.
Hi, Pisces. This is Jahnavi.
Yeah, hi Jahnavi. Please tell me.
I hope we'll be able to complete the DP-203 certification after this, and we'll be able to attend interviews on this, right?
Yes. See,
We'll gain knowledge enough to do that. right?
Yes. Let me tell you one thing.
Okay.
See, the courses are two types of the courses will be outside if you see. So there are
Okay.
some corporate trainings which exclusively concentrate on certification. That is DP-203 certification, right? So
Okay.
earlier 200 and 201, two certifications were there. Those were talking about ADF, ADB, Cosmos DB in detail. Okay, there's kind of a, it used to touch point all Azure data technologies. Okay, 200 and 201. Okay, but later point of time, what they did is they shifted all this touch point, the basics of these technologies to DP900. Okay, then they made all the Azure Synapse content as part of the exam in the DP-203. So DP-203, the most of the focus will be in terms of the Synapse Analytics. The various components, Synapse Analytics and Cosmos and all there, but most of the focus will be Synapse only. But we are going to cover Synapse as well. So if you're really concentrating on DP-203, so you can concentrate on Synapse. I'll talk about the Synapse and all basics, and even data breaks, and even the some of the things like storage and SQL. So I'll touch point the things. But so there, the most of the things would be a certification or like theoretical exam, theoretical point of view questions would be there. So for that, I'll give some content. I will give some question bank and all. So where you can explore the questions and right. But to read the questions, this level of knowledge is good enough. You attend this training. Okay, this training gives good insight of every technology. So you don't need to worry about attempting the exam.
Okay, so if I'm gonna take an interview on this kind of technology, it will be I'll be able to take it right after completion of this.
Yes. At the end of the course, if you practice all the content, whatever I teach in the session, day to day, and if you practice whatever the scenarios I explain, whatever the assignments I give, definitely you will crack the you can crack the interview. And apart from these trainings, at the end of the training, also I will be covering one of the real-time use case end to end, and with like real time, like how the zones will be available, how do you log, how do you implement error handling. Those are all end to end that we do, so that you can inline your project which you are trying to put over there. You can inline that with real-time example, then you align, sorry, not inline, align, then you can prepare your for the interview. But I'm going to give the mock resume, sample resumes, and I'm going to discuss some of the interview questions during the course time, so that so it's not a difficult to crack the interview if you are with me during this period of time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, see, if you are learning any course, you know that, right? 20% will be from the trainer point of view, 80% of the efforts from your side, right? Like same like in exams also, right? What happens? So the teacher teaches very less, but you learn a lot yourself, right? So if I say something storage account, if you say something kind of ADF, I'm giving introduction and I'm explaining in detail all the basics things. It's your responsibility to go ahead and learn the things whatever I explained, and also deep dive whenever you get some free time, right? So only attending the course doesn't give you enough knowledge. So you need to go through the articles, you need to go to the Medium articles and read the blogs, right? And you follow the good people in the LinkedIn and try to see what are the interview questions, what are the questions they are sharing, what are the articles they are sharing, right? So you have some good people like Mark Cromer, James Sierra. So these are all well exceptionally talented guys in Azure data engineering. So you need to follow those guys, you need to keep reading them, you need to keep following them. So you need to kind of prepare yourself from all the dimensions, then definitely you can crack the exam. Sorry, interview as well, not only exam, interview as well. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, fine, please.
Yeah. And anyone in this class who is who doesn't understand Telugu, or everybody, all are Telugu guys?
Yes, sir. Myself, Telugu.
Okay. Anyone else who doesn't understand? Devraj, you're not.
Yeah, myself as well.
Okay, okay.
I
That's
think
fine.
I'm also.
Pravas and Pooja both are not from Telugu background.
Okay, okay. Because in some of the batches, people ask me to explain in Telugu. So my recordings, if you listen recordings, there will be some Telugu discussion as well. But don't worry, I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to do, I'm going to repeat the same thing again in the this one as well.
Means it's increasingly important to keep up with the
Hey,
competition.
Devraj, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah. So I'm not going to use Telugu, but if I'm going to use the Telugu for describing anything, for explaining anything, I'll make sure to do that English first, then I'll do in the Telugu. Okay. So about myself, I till intermediate I've done my education in Telugu medium. So you might find some of the grammar mistakes, hiccups and all during the course of time. Just bear with me. But that doesn't hamper any flow or any course content and all. So not to worry about that. All right. Any more questions you have for the course and all?
This is like, can we start from like actual session from tomorrow?
Yes. Okay. So this is a data engineering architecture. If any people joined today, so there were 2 minutes for the 40 minutes to finish it up. So I'll quickly go through that. So any data engineering project, irrespective of the technology, will have 4 phases. One is ingest, one is store, one is prepare and train, and one model and serve. So ingestion means like we have the data extract. I'm going to explain again as part of data engineering introduction, but I'm just explaining today quickly. So ingestion is a phase because the all about what exactly data engineering is. Data engineering is all about extracting the data from multiple sources, multiple formats, and preparing or unifying the data in a common format. So the data scientist or data analyst will consume the data further. That is the responsibility of the data engineer. So here data engineer connects to all the external data sources. He extracts it. That means ingestion is nothing but extract. Then you store it somewhere. Then he convert the data. He convert the data in such a way that the end user needs it. Then he model and serve. So he design the data warehouse and all. Then finally, data scientist or data analyst will consume the data for further purpose. So for ingestion phase, store, prepare and train, model and so, these are the 4 phases are common to any data engineering, irrespective of the cloud provider. If you say AWS, GCP, or Azure, you will see the same phases across all the technologies. Okay. The only thing is the technology changes. Though the cloud provider changes, the technology name changes, but exactly the same kind of logic, the same kind of thing you'll do. Okay. So we are going to discuss this in detail anyway in the further classes. Yeah, and weekly 5 days will do, and sometimes there might be some gaps because of my what do you say, meetings and all, but we'll try to cover up over the weekend or extra classes that we'll do that. Okay. So
Can we rejoin with the same link?
Yeah, you can join with the same link tomorrow, and we'll catch up around 9 o'clock for this week and next week will be 9 o'clock, but after that period of next week, so we try to do it to 8:30 only. Okay. Any changes are there, so I'll try to update previous day.
Sure, this meeting going to complete, so we can start join tomorrow. I'll share the link for tomorrow's session.
Okay. If you have any questions, do ask